Thank you, Don. After that wonderful introduction, I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say. District Governor Herb and Carol, aides Wallace and Ann, Rotary leaders past and current, the family of Rotary, which includes the youth, and guests. It's been a real honor for Linda and I to be here with you these past few days to represent Rotary International President Gary Wong, the Rotary Club of Taipei, Taiwan, and his wife, Karina. It's been our opportunity and our privilege to meet many of you and to better understand what is special about this Rotary District, to learn more about the work you do in the 4 states and around the world. President Gary, seen in this picture with your District Governor Herb and his wife Carol, asked me to thank you as a Rotarian about this district. Well, I'm sure there are many impressive things that I won't list here that are really important in many of your clubs, but I am very impressed with the Medical Supply Network, a district-wide project that began in 1993 at the hands of Jack Maxwell and continues very strongly today with the involvement of many. We had a large natural disaster, as you heard in my bio, in our district last year, and I'm particularly sensitized to the tornado relief being done through MSNI and directly by the clubs. We sometimes debate whether Rotary should be in the development business or in the aid business or the relief business, but when it comes to our own tragedies, we're not much good to the rest of the world if we're not in good shape at home and when we're hurting at home. So good on you for that work. The district's polio success, you've heard about it, including the work that Bob McKenzie has done, raising $82,000 last fall, and that work of polio supported again by many of the clubs in the district. That's good work. The water wells in Nicaragua. Importance of this project was shared with me not by members of your district, but by members and friends of mine in Costa Rica who told me about the project in the neighboring country being done by your club, by the Rotary Club of Tulsa, again supported by many other clubs. And speaking of water, I know of the Belize filtration project that Governor Herb and Jack Maxwell cased out a few years ago, and it also has the support of many clubs. Noel Morris and the Rotary Club of Springdale, Arkansas, 10,000 wheelchairs for over the past 12 years. And of course, we heard from Chris Lewis yesterday. Wow, what a great project. Because of your size, your overall foundation giving compares well. But I encourage you, as Ed said yesterday, to strive for that $100 a member mark, and when you get there, you'll be even more remarkable. And the youth programs, we had a great morning on youth programs, Interact and Youth Exchange. There were some Rotec students there as well. I'm really encouraged by their participation here and by the programs you have. They're such great programs, and it's good to see the district as engaged in those programs as they are. Fellow Rotarians, it's important to remember your successes and to celebrate them, and so continue to do that, please, in the future. About a year ago, as I began my club visits, I was reflecting on my role as district governor, and I said to Linda, in your wildest dreams, did you ever see me as a district governor? Linda looked at me and she kind of turned her head sideways, and she said, I hate to tell you, but you're not in my wildest dreams. I expect that most of you know President Gary's theme for this year. Based on Confucius's proverb, it's better to light a single candle than to curse the darkness. He has challenged us all to light up Rotary in 2014, 2015. And if he were here, President Wong might say this theme could mean many different things. He might also ask you the question, what lights your candle? Perhaps you are called to make Rotary stronger by sponsoring a new member. Perhaps you are called to change someone's life through a service project or an act of kindness, no matter how big or how small. Perhaps you are called to share Rotary's story, the story of its good work, and to share it with your community and with the world. Lighting up Rotary clearly means different things to different people. What makes my candle burn? What makes your candle burn? Better question still, does your candle burn at all? Yesterday, the men of note sang the message in, I think, their third song. You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. We all have our story. We all have our reason for being Rotarians. However, to be long-time Rotarians, Rotarians for life, we need to find a passion in Rotary. Our candle needs to burn bright, and it needs to burn with enduring strength. Yes, each of us have a Rotary story. All of us do, and we need to tell that story. We need to share our passion, both in our clubs and outside of our clubs. Your stories can be a powerful tool. As I tell you my story, I want you to reflect on Ron Burton's question last year. How did I get that feeling that made me a Rotarian for life? How did you, or for some of you, how will you get that same feeling? For those of you that have been around Rotary for, say, 10 years, do you remember your first couple of years in your club? I remember mine. A man named Peter Meyer in Barrie, Ontario, near Toronto, first asked me to join Rotary. We talk lots about joining, we talk lots about the club, but we didn't talk much about Rotary. I agreed to join, and I was promptly declined because somebody else held the banker classification. I didn't understand how things worked in this old boys club. But I was persistent. Well, actually, Peter Meyer was persistent. And eventually I was reproposed and accepted. Then when I went to my first meeting, it felt that I was with a club that really wasn't that anxious to have me. I didn't know very much about the organization other than when and where they met and a little bit about their local activities. But I attended. I participated in some fundraising, mostly selling tickets. And while I wasn't lost in Rotary, I sure was trying to find my way. And actually, I expect my experience might be pretty common for lots of other new Rotarians. I continued for about 2 years until I was transferred to Saskatoon, a city in Western Canada. The meetings in Barrie had been fine. In many ways, this was a good Rotary club. But no one had taught me much about Rotary. No one had invited me to be on a committee. No one seemed to notice when I wasn't there. No one invited us to join them socially, and no one forwarded my name on to the new city. There was an important lesson in all of this for me. We need to pay attention to our fellow members. Are they new? Are they here? Are they drifting? Are they happy in Rotary? Are they engaged? And what can we do to help? So when I got to Saskatoon, do you think I ran out and joined Rotary? No, I did not. And let me dwell on this decision for a moment. Those who might leave Rotary, your clubs, in the next year are members today. In our midst is the next crop of vulnerable Rotarians. Do we know who these members might be? For those that are in clubs that see membership as a challenge, that see membership retention as a problem, what do we do differently? Can we expect to do the same things over and over and get a different result? To continue my story, although I did get back into Rotary later in Saskatoon, I had a similar experience. Wasn't a bad experience. Neither were really bad experiences. This was another good Rotary club. It just wasn't an experience that developed my Rotary values as a new Rotarian and the passion that we talked about earlier. Rotary may have been on my mind, but it wasn't in my heart. And then my job transferred again to another city in Western Canada before the days of Rotary transfers. And despite making it well known to certain members, Rotary membership seemed to be closed. So I joined Kiwanis. I left Rotary. When I transferred to Lethbridge, my current location, I had a choice to make, Kiwanis or Rotary. My decision, and this is a true story, was based solely on joining the club with the fewest retired members. So apparently neither organization had touched my heart at that point. In Lethbridge, I began to get the experiences that developed my Rotary interest and my Rotary values. One of the things that had changed was me. I learned in my previous experiences that I, as much as any Rotary club, was responsible for my own Rotary experience, for development of my Rotary values, and seeking that passion that we all need to lock us into the organization for life. So the learning for me, whether you're 2 years or 20 years in Rotary, successful members take charge of their own Rotary growth and development. And successful clubs need to develop and grow members. Good clubs manage development and just don't assume it will happen. As I reflect, I did not get enough of this in my early years in Rotary. So do you have a strategy for this as a club? In our work environment, do we hire people, then leave them to their own devices? Or do we have training and development programs, perhaps a coach, perhaps a mentor, that will help them be successful and build loyalty to the organization? I really think this is important. And then, as my Rotary career progressed in Lethbridge, it happened for us. Our candle was lit, and we found our passion in Rotary. In 2003, Linda and I were in the backwoods of Fiji, visiting impoverished families. This is a picture of the family we were to visit, but it was taken several years before the day of our visit. This was a project of my Rotary Club, building a roto home, what you might call an oversized garden shed, built on squatters' land for these displaced families. During the visit, I recall sitting on the porch, literally, with my wife Linda, with Peter Drysdale, this very committed Rotarian, and with a family of 8 who had literally nothing. A strong wife, a dying husband, a displaced sister, and 5 growing children. We inspected their home, the home given to them by Rotary, and while it was so-called cyclone-proof, with the exception of the clothing which they wore, there were no possessions, and little to eat. Absolutely nothing. Their main income was the begging done by the wife and the youngest child on the streets of Lautoka. And I don't have time to tell you the whole story, but no doubt these poor people in Fiji lit up Rotary for us. This was a Rotary moment, a very emotional time for Linda and I on that visit. And as I recall the experience, there are 3 significant memories. First, this day was the moment in time when we came face to face with real poverty. Not just in the news, not in somebody else's story. We came face to face with it. We inspected it. We spoke with it. So if we want to talk about touching hearts, this was a life-changing moment for Linda and I. Second, we were touched by this passionate Rotarian, Peter Drysdale, who had almost single-handedly, with the financial support of Rotary clubs around the world, built 750 of these cyclone-proof homes for the poorest of poor in his home country of Fiji. Peter was lighting up the world. He had found his passion, and we were in its presence that day. And third, we were equally as touched, and not in a good way, when later that evening we discussed our findings with locals at a wedding reception. We were disgusted by the uncaring and the indignant attitude of wealthy Fijians who were callously judgmental of the impoverished in their midst, of that lady begging on the streets of Lautoka. We were disgusted by their inability to be a light in their own community. That day we came to understand the commitment, the action, and the passion it takes to be a true Rotarian, to light up the world. We also came to understand how easy it is to ignore the needs right in one's own community. This was the point in time when Rotary moved from my mind to my heart. My passion is in international programs, as you may recall from the bio. Your passion can be anywhere in this diverse Rotary world, as long as it's firmly embedded in your heart. The important point is to be long-time Rotarians, Rotarians for life, to light up Rotary, to light up the world. We must all seek and find our passion in Rotary. We must light our candle for life. And as leaders, we must help light the candles of our members. And as I think about lighting the candle of our members, it's clear to me that clubs are successful when they understand their own membership. What do members want in program, in projects, in fellowship? Are they getting it? Are they participating? In all due respect, it's of little value asking a member after he or she has left what could have been done different. Far better to ask while they're still members, save the member and improve the club. Looking for ways to serve the broad interests of our members, that's how we retain members. That's how we attract members. That's how we light up Rotary. As clubs and as members, we need to decide what success looks like to us and manage toward it. As I conclude today, and even though I didn't talk much about it, we do need to keep up the recruiting. So I ask each of you to make the commitment to find a new member. Find your replacement in Rotary. Share your passion. Share your story. It's a powerful tool. We also need to strengthen retention. So I also ask you to make the commitment to help keep an existing member, even if that member is you. And as clubs, be sure we understand the needs and the wants of our membership and manage for success. Thank you for having us this weekend, allowing me to speak to you today. And as we go about this Rotary Conference and the rest of your Rotary year, I ask all of you to light up Rotary, light up your community, light up the world, and most important, light up your own life with Rotary. Thank you.